Hi guys, and welcome to another prop tutorial. It's been a while. I have been active on my Instagram uploading pictures of props. I've put a few videos up on here of TARDIS console screens. There's not really been a lot to talk about prop wise, but I will get around to making some more prop videos and let you guys know how I've made stuff. But today's video is going to be on Harry Potter ones and custom ones. So originally, with my Harry Potter collection, I bought myself some Gryffindor robes, the glasses, etc. for a Harry costume, and this was the first one that I purchased, and it was actually a little bit longer than this. It was actually the same length as the older wand, which I found was a little bit weird because Harry's wand is meant to be 10 3/4 inches, and it was more or less 14. So what I had to do was I had to cut the whole stem of the wand down and replace it with a copper tube and replace the wires so that it lights up, and all the batteries, etc. If you get them from eBay, they're all in the handles, and they've got one of these little buttons on there which you push down, it turns on and off, and it's got a little rubber stopper on the bottom. And that's down to 10 3/4 inches. And then a few months back I went to the Harry Potter Studios and I bought the Replica Harry wand. But interestingly enough, Harry's Replica wand from the studios is actually longer than the one I've made to the exact length. And I actually think that the wands at the studios are actually the same length for all of them. Because if you see there, the elder wand on the bottom is from eBay, and the top one is the Noble Collection wand, and they're both the same length. So for some reason they've actually got these down as longer than what they should be, which I was a little bit surprised about, to be honest. Made a couple of other wands, one being Hermione's. Now I see a lot of people who make wands using cocktail sticks, and actually I use paintbrush handles, and that's what I've made for these three. I'll explain that in a minute. But this one was literally a paintbrush handle, and I made this one as a stand-in for my sister before her light-up one from eBay turned up for Christmas, or was it her birthday? And so this one was just a paintbrush handle, and all I did was use the glue gun to add on the vine texture that Hermione has on her wand. And there's a lot of different ones that you find on eBay for Hermione, and my sister's one originally was yellow, which Hermione's wand was never yellow, and there's some that turn out green, but as far as I'm aware, Hermione's wand is brown with the light brown on top for the vines. So again, that was made to the same length as, unfortunately, the handle for the paintbrush was actually the right length for her wand. So it was just a case of adding the end with a bit of hot glue and then going around with the vines. I did the snake wand, which this was a lot more tricky to do. Again, this was handmade. But this one I used a piece of wooden dowel because at the time I didn't ever have any paintbrushes spare that I wasn't using, or the heads had got really sort of gluey and sort of paint all in them, which I couldn't get out. So this was a piece of wooden dowel, and then it's got a metal handle, which is the main base, and then over the top of the metal handle you've actually got some foam. And then this bit here is actually off of a light pole from the bathroom, because I replaced mine with a metal one. And then it's got some rubber O-rings that are here and here. And then what I had to do was carve in little grooves with the soldering iron to put these. You can see the paint's wearing off slightly. The beads off of army neck chains from the dog tags you get. And so these were just, I put the soldering iron onto the foam and made a hole and then glued those in place, and then on top you can see the really intricate pattern that's on there, and that's made up of small headphone wire, and again that was just glued on top of there with super glue, and then it was all just painted up black, and that was probably the most trickiest wand I've made. And then for another wand I made was this one, and again, a thin paintbrush handle, And then these bits here were actually, I found them in a charity shop, and the little groove here and here, they had a rubber O-ring on them, but I took those off, and then there was two identical ones of this shape, and so what I did was I cut off the middle section here off of the end piece, and then put a screw through the middle to screw into this one, and then I added a plastic gemstone at the end there, and then just glued the paintbrush handle into the wand handle itself. And I quite like the contrast of the two colours, and it's got a nice sort of weight to it. And then for the last wand, again, it's a rather large paintbrush handle, and then it's got, in my opinion, it's a little bit like Lucius Malfoy's wand in the way it's the sort of the look of it. I had a bit off of an old curtain rail, which is this end bit, which I originally picked up because I was going to use it for a sword, because I thought that would make quite a nice handle on the end on the sword. But instead what I did was I got a piece of metal tubing and I cut, you can see it sort of tapers down to a point here, and then what I did was, again, using those same beads I used on the snake wand, I then wrapped them around the handle, and again this gives a really nice weight. The wand shaft itself actually fits into that metal bits of tubing, and the metal tubing is then glued into the handle piece, which would, as I say, be a pommel on a sword if I had used it for that. But again, it's got quite a nice weight. As I say, I much prefer the shape of paintbrush handles, just because they look a little bit more natural and they've got a more natural shape. I mean, you can see slightly on this one, possibly. There we go. You can see that there's still a little bit of gold in the writing that was on the paintbrush handle itself, which they've actually sort of imprinted into the wood itself. So it does take a little bit of sanding to do. I think on this one I managed to get it all off. But I find they look a lot more better than what cocktail sticks or barbecue skewers look like, just for the fact that they seem to be quite pointed as well, whereas obviously with these you're not going to damage or hurt anyone with the paintbrush handle, because they've got blunt ends. I mean, this one is more flat than that one, for say. That's because I sanded the top of that one and didn't do this one. Originally I was going to do a bit of a Lucius Malfoy wand on this and have it in a handle, sort of cane, but I never got around to that because the beads then got in the way. So yeah, that's a few of my wands that I've made. As I say, I have been making more props. I mean, with Christmas and what have you, and the fact that I've been changing jobs, etc., it's been a little bit sort of time consuming with all that going on. I've written another list of props to finish off. Some are still from last year. You can also see that I'm trying to work on the TARDIS roundels here, and I'm trying to make those 3D, and at the minute they're just made out of cardboard and plastic and some foam bowls. So hopefully that will be something that will progress further on this year. There'll hopefully be some more updates on props that I've made previously, if I've made any adaptations to them or improved them anymore. And again, as I say, there's still more stuff in the pipeline of props that I want to make on the list, so I've been gathering reference material for those. So hopefully there'll be more on the channel coming soon, because as I say, I have left it for a few months and I haven't done anything, so hopefully that'll get some more sort of people intrigued as to what's going on. If you haven't already, then you can follow me on Instagram at BioDoc900, and I also have a Facebook page with the same username, so you can find me on there. Links will be in the description. If you haven't already, again, hit that subscribe button. It means a lot that people are watching and taking interest, and hit that like button as well. If you've got any suggestions of stuff you'd like to see, if you'd like to put them into the comments below, then that'd be great as well. And as I say, hopefully more content coming soon. So yeah, thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you in the next one.